Selling a home in the second half of 2022 is very different than it was in the early part of the year. So we're going to talk about that here in this video.
'Cause I found my way. 'Cause I found my way, my way, my way, my way.
Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Mariah Taliaferro. I'm a realtor with Premier Sotheby's, specializing in downtown Sarasota and the surrounding keys. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like this content and want to be notified every time we put a new video out, click that little bell and like it so it's shared with other people as well. Thanks so much. So we talked about the market changes, and you can reference other market update videos that we've done, but the important thing to know is that it is different now, especially if you're a seller. We came from a year and a half of a red hot market where you could put your property on the market and get an astronomical number for it potentially, and it's a little bit different right now. And the reason is that demand has really lessened and supply has increased. And what we're also seeing is that buyers are kind of pumping the brakes a little bit on purchasing property. So you're going to find that homes stay on the market a little bit longer. The price that you were initially thinking might not be really attainable right now. And it's kind of a bit of a, I shouldn't say a guessing game, but it is going to be a bit of trial and error to find what is that sweet spot on price. But the important thing is positioning it. So we're going to dive into those different tips, and I'm going to give you 5 tips that you should consider if you are going to be putting your home on the market in this second half of the year. Tip number 1, and the most important tip, is to price strategically. And strategically means not just putting out a price. It's coming up with, okay, if we put out this price and we don't get this level of interest, then we need to either reduce the price or do some kind of adjustment, which is usually about price. So price strategically, and you're going to price it based on past comps, and taking into account that the comps were in a very different market. So be sure to partner with an agent that's really in tune with not only what was happening in the early part of the year and the year prior, but also what's currently happening in the market. So that's very important, pricing strategically. So tip number 2 is present strategically. This starts from the very beginning before you even have photography done. You need to have your home staged with a professional stager. Go through everything, decide what needs to be removed, what needs to stay, what might need to be moved around. Also, not only the photography, but the videography, the overall presentation of the property, down to how that description sounds, the keywords that are used, and it goes on and on and on. I can keep going. So really presenting the property and positioning it in the right light is going to be the most important thing. So if you're not partnered with an agent who is backed by a company and has their own marketing plan put together for your property, then you need to reevaluate your strategy. Number 3 is you really need to think about timing and capitalize on that timing. It's back to being a seasonal market here in Sarasota, where things really slowed down after Easter until about November. So we will see how the summer months play out, but we are seeing a lot more seasonality this year. And you may want to think about listing it during the time that people are actually here versus during the summer months. Number 4 is you need to consider the tax implications. If you're buying a property, or if you're selling a property and then you're buying another property, that you could qualify for a 1031 exchange, but you also need to be aware of short-term and long-term capital gains and whether you fall within either of those. And number 5 is to really consider your next move. So that's also consider your timing. If you don't end up selling your house for this price and not within this period of time, can you really buy that house that you might be thinking you can go under contract? You really need to think things through very thoroughly based on various situations. So those are my 5 tips for you if you're looking to sell a property in 2022. If you ever have any questions, be sure to reach out to us. We can give you really great advice based on your current situation. And of course, post your comments below, post any questions, anything we can do to help. We're here to be of service. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.